Today will be cloudy indeed, but Bren, I think today it might be by the numbers.
Nah, you're all wrong, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, we're just going to go straight out the back. I mean, me and ZP were talking about this earlier in the pre-game. We think it's definitely going to be a very close game between these two teams, and it's actually on paper, 1-2-3 is the team that's most likely going to be taking this. And it really all depends a lot on this first map pick, which is going to be Nepal. We're going to be heading to that one as the control map here. But ZP, what's your opinion on this then with Cloud9's sort of effect and what they do with these control point maps?
Well, when you look at how C9 has been winning the series that have gone down so far, they've needed to win on control, period. Where ever since week 1, after they changed their roster, they have been undefeated here on these control maps. And if you take a look at the series wins they've had, they've really kind of struggled as they go to Assault and Escort later on. So this is a very key map here for C9. They have to defend their home turf. For more than just one reason here, Bren, too, because if 1-2-3 was able to, say, sweep this and go 4-0, that would actually assure them a playoff spot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming into this, a playoff spot just secured straight off the back of this one map, that's like the dream, I think, for a lot of these teams now. Yes, we're in a final week, and it's getting very close to it. There's a lot of teams that already do have the playoff spot secured, but, I mean, there's just one less thing to worry about realistically now coming into this. But as we stand, we do have a quick reset now. We will be heading into the game fairly shortly. You don't have to look at us for much longer, I guarantee you. But Nepal is a map. And what's your opinion here then, ZP, coming into this? Which team do you feel like is going to be strongest on this one particular control map? Because Nepal is quite interesting in that you can run sort of these Reinhardt tank-based compositions, but I don't feel like we're going to be seeing that at all. Both these teams like to run the dive much more than they do the Reinhardt compositions.
Well, both Tonic and Mauzasa, they're at home running the Winston, and you do have a interesting disparity between how they run it, where Mauzasa, C9 tends to be very all-in with their dives, where they just go straight in. Tonic, he more dances in and around the battlefield, so I really feel like these fights are going to be decided here rather quickly early on, where either C9's going to dive in, get 1 or 2 kills, and snowball from there. But if the fight lasts for a while without one side getting a kill, I think there's a very good chance that you see 1-2-3 win the longer sustained game here versus C9. So it'll be interesting. I think the first engagement here will tell us a lot.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, both these teams are very close in terms of the compositions they like to use, in terms of their hero flexibility, you know. But as we now roll out, we're going to see them clash head-on here on this first section here of Nepal. We go into village, and already they're going to be trying to put in the damage block. It's a bit of it for the time being, and again, just poking and prodding. This is the 1-2-3 play style. They don't really like to get things off and get things going too quickly, but Cloud9, they leap into the fray.
And you see C9 being the aggressors. 1-2-3 more willing to work back, and Mikey gets Snillo early on. That is huge, especially with what we know of these two tracers. Now 1-2-3, they have to fight their way out of a hole. They're outgunned, and the C9 dive here, Bren, has worked out very well so far.
Yeah, straight off the back of that, Mikey A getting the initial pick-off is pretty much all you need. As soon as Snillo is taken out of the equation, when you lack your tracer player, you lose a lot of initiation and a lot of capabilities to get those picks off. So realistically, Cloud9 then, they do take the point. They're going to be taking the high ground for the time being now. Now we're getting into the stage of the game, stage of this section at least, where the ultimates are coming online for Cloud9.
And the thing is, Mikey of the two tracers is better with his pulse bomb, so now we'll see what he does here. He's pushed back early on, 1-2-3. Very early barrier, leading the way, and they get 2 very quick pickoffs off it. Now C9, even with Mikey investing in pulse bomb, they're going to have to back out.
Yeah, super impressive stuff there by 1-2-3 to just utilize that soundbar, I guess. Getting it so early as well. Denia building it up in a very rapid fashion allows them to just take the subsequent team fight. Cloud9, I don't think, anticipated that at all. They weren't ready for the fact that they were going to have that defensive support available to them. But now Cloud9, it should be their fight to win. They've got a lot of ults online, including the Dragon Blade, the Primal Rage, and we all know what Mauzasa can do with those Primal Rages. You know, the Analyst desk was talking about it for quite some time. You know, he is going to be quite aggressive, quite stally with it. Now we're going to see them now as they look to contest the point.
And he leads the Primal Rage early on here and the Transcendence. We're watching the Tracer battle on the point, but you have the Transcendence up in the other area. Nevix, he was able to take down Bach because of that engage, and now they invest the bear as well. So C9, they're all in on this fight. 1-2-3 has actually invested much into this here so far, though, and they've still gotten a decent amount of delay.
Yeah, the longer they stall this now, the better it's going to be. So Snillo will try and cap this one out, but eventually Yeah. Cloud9 going to retake control of this point for the time being. And a lot of ults were committed there by Cloud9. They ended up using both their defensive support ults, the Primal Rage and the Dragon Blade. So 4 support ults to try and take that team fight. They do eventually win it out now. But again, 1-2-3 now are sitting with this tactical visor. There's nothing to really stop it on the side of Cloud9, aside from space of his defense matrix. And now we see them initiate in. We'll look to see if they can use these ultimates fully in Bok. I mean, why do you need ults when Bok can just frag out here on the Zenyatta?
And that's a problem here for C9. If 1-2-3 can take this cleanly without investing much, not only, of course, would they get this fight, but they'd be well set up. However, they decide they're going to transcend to be sure. I don't think they needed to, though. Bok barely hit anyone with that transcendence. I think it was just under pressure, but even still, he could have saved that.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Space got that initial kill with the self-destruct in that last fight, I think Bok thought it was a little bit too close to call. Used the transcendence early on, you know, could have maybe got by without using it, but regardless, Cloud9 are looking to re-engage. Now you see the initiation coming in, the slow siege almost now. We're starting to poke and prod onto the point. Snillo still trying to protect it for the time being, while Cloud9, they are looking for this initial pickoff. But Finzi using the tactical visor, connects the kill onto Neptuno, and that is going to be big for them.
Indeed, and now for 1-2-3, off the barrier, they're playing the edges right now. They're not giving themselves into a big death ball that C9 can easily dive on, and it works out. C9, they move in, and they're picked off from the flanks here. So 1-2-3 continuing to hold. However, this might be turning around here, Bren. Look at the ultimate situation as C9 comes back in.
Yeah, I mean, right now they've got 2 defensive support ults. Nevix has his Dragon Blade as well. 1-2-3, they've got nothing to defend against any offensive ults, but it's out of Cloud9, so depends how they do it. Pulse Bomb will actually find a kill onto Nevix there by Snillo, just caught onto the edge of the bubble there. That's pretty impressive stuff. Self-destruct as well, 1-2-3. They get 2 initial picks off. The Transcendence was used by Gray, and they do manage to flip the point over. Now the Sound Barrier will be used on top of it. Really trying to concatenate this on and really claim this win for them. Pulse Bomb connects. Mikey A brings down Finzi.
Mikey A might be bringing him down, but C9 is still in a rough spot right now. They had to invest the barrier. The one part that's leading in their favor right now is that they were able to flip the point despite losing the early part of that fight. However, now they're getting picked apart. You see Space taken down, not able to remech. Snillo working round and around right now on the point, laying in the damage, and though C9 is trying to fight and stall, this is simply not working in their favor right now.
Yeah, Cloud9 are just losing so many players for the time being. Plus one sent out by Snillo, won't connect. Meanwhile, Mikey A answers back into the back lines, but he is instantly taken out again. And look at this, it is just clean up. The cap goes the way of 1-2-3 here in the overtime for this first round on the village. With self-destruct coming out from Space just to basically try and stall this one out for the best as he possibly can. But at this stage, it is going to be the 1-2-3 show, just the stragglers rolling in, and they're going to be claiming this first round here on the pole.
A little bit of stall coming out from Michael Adams towards the end, but Finzi, he has been mopping up, he's been cleaning up, throwing all sorts of members of C9 into the garbage. One thing to note here, Bren, is that remember what we talked about with Control. C9, they haven't lost a Control map since week 1.
Yeah.
This is the map they need to win to get the series win and most of their series wins. 1-2-3 has already put them in a very uncomfortable position.
One more round, ZP, that's all they need to win this first map. And like you mentioned before, you know, Cloud9, as soon as they get this first Control map, it's looking much more good, you know, much better for them, I should say, in terms of the grand scheme of things when it comes to winning out this series. But right now they've got their backs against the wall. 1-2-3 and put them in this position. And composition-wise, not going to be switching anything up. Still sticking with the dive on either side. Finzi on the Soldier 76 and Nevix on the Genji. Question is, what are Cloud9 going to do to turn this one around? Because I feel like their passive sort of, the strong dive that they were running, where they just sort of all commit onto the backlines, doesn't quite work against the passive in a methodical game plan of 1-2-3.
It does work out early on points, but oh no, Malzasa a little bit too deep. Half-Cool was just protecting his backline, takes him down at the end of his Zen, and now 1-2-3, plenty of room to work with. There's not going to be much pressure on Snillo as he goes to the back, looking for Gray, forced back, and yet pressure is still coming in, and he gets his man.
Yeah, just literally tickles him with the little pellets there from across the map. Finding the kill at the back of it. It's going to be traded out quite evenly, but 1-2-3 are going to be in control of the point. All off the back of that initial kill from Half-Cool. And again, it's the counter dive coming out from them. Half-Cool peeling for the supports, which is saving them in this scenario. And as you can see, already with the point in their control, you know, Cloud9 can attempt to try and retake it with this all-out aggressive dive composition that they're trying to run here. They're really trying to put all of their eggs in one basket. But again, 1-2-3 just far too superior, trying to work and figuring out this composition, and they are succeeding at it. They're really just sort of clocking them when they try and go in with these dives.
And the thing is, for C9, their win condition here is that when they do commit heavily on these dives, they need to get one kill immediately. They're not really that great at backing out the fight like 1-2-3 is, so longer fights always serve to help 1-2-3. Now C9, they're rolling into the point here once more. A few people coming out the left flank, but now the Transcendence is into 1-2-3. This is going to keep them healthy, and now both teams, Bren, very likely just be chaining support ultimates in this beginning.
Yeah, Snellow's just completely unchecked as it stands. Both the soundbar is going to be used by both these teams, and Happy Cool, he finds Neptuno. The self-destruct comes over. Fincy's own little tactical visor will do enough cleanup now for 1-2-3 to definitely be securing this one out. And Cloud9, look at the amount of ultimates they committed for that fight, and they still have not come out on top. They used absolutely everything. The Dragon Blade, the Primal Rage, and both the defensive support ults, and still 1-2-3 are in control.
The big thing there is that was an ultimate showdown. That could have been a huge swing in the game, and now C9, they're stuck with only 30% left to go, and really, they don't have anything to really work with as they come back in. The other thing is that Finzy's been way better claimed than Nevix, but Bren, this next fight is underway.
Yeah, Tonic has the Primal Rage, and look at this. He's just trying to stall them out to the best of his ability. The point starts to get played for the time being. Again, this passive, patient play. Very tactical, just waiting for the right opportunities. Happy Cool eating a bit of damage, might get desuited, but his team is there. Now the self-destruct gets sent out by Cloud9, looking to equal it out, but nobody is checking Tonic. He leaps into the back lines, brings down Gray with that Primal Rage, and now he's hunting for more.
And we know how many kills Tonic gets with Primal Rage. He's absolutely fine with hunting people on the outskirts. And now C9 in a lot of trouble. They're down 2 players here early on. They cannot go away from the point, but the tank play of 1-2-3 zoning them out. Here comes the barrier, and 1-2-3 on the verge of taking away C9's best map type.
And here you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the overtime ticks down. They are going to be winning map number 1 here in this series against them. And I got to say, I mean, personally, ZP, I'm not particularly surprised. I think both of us sort of fought on paper, you know, 1-2-3 are going to be a bit of the much more superior team when it comes to these matchups. You know, Hafikul's stats grossly outweigh Space's in a lot of ways, including the first kill, which we saw in that second round. You know, Hafikool was the first person to get that initial kill.
Well, the thing is, between the two divas, when you take a look at their gameplay, both in what we've seen with our eyes and what we've seen in the stats, Hafikool sits back to protect his team a lot more than Space does. Yeah. Space relies more on just getting in the face of his opponents. The scary thing here for C9 is that this matchup doesn't necessarily get better for them later on with their divas, right? Because now you have the situation where Hafikool, his best attribute is kills with self-destruct. Nepal's pretty closed in for doing that, but the other maps, Bren, not so much.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky ask now for Cloud9, I guess, coming into this one. But I think right now, with 1-2-3 claiming that first map win, it's definitely going to be looking good for them for the time being, at least. But my goodness, I mean, what a showing from them. But really, I think the most impressive thing is it's not flashy Overwatch by any means. You know, it's not the flashy plays. You're not getting these multiple kills with Dragon Blades. It's just very tactical. They wait, you know, just for the dive, and then they counter dive. That's the sort of play style that 1-2-3 have. That patience is what really makes them the superior team in this matchup.
All right, guys, we're going to be heading to a quick break. Will C9 be able to bring this back and take some of 1-2-3's territory? We'll find out. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Season 1 EU 1-2-3 versus C9. A match, Bren, that is very important for playoff implications as both these teams are 3-2 heading into this, but 1-2-3, they've struck first.
They have indeed. They've taken the first map in this series, which is honestly a massive stepping stone for them to reaching that playoff goal. But both these teams so equally matched in a lot of ways in terms of their wins and their losses throughout this series. This is such an important game for both of them to really take it now. So a lot on the line here for Cloud9.
Bren, I love what you did there. You said equally matched. You did like this with your fists. Like they're getting into a fight. Like
they're getting into it.
This is a slugfest. It's round one. Of
I'm getting excited because like this is a hype match. Like just to kick things off here for EU because this decides so much in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the playoffs and whatnot. But speaking of map-wise, it is going to be Numbani that we're going to be heading into. So Numbani is a map point. This was Cloud9's map pick. ZP, what's your opinion coming into this now? How do you feel like this is going to be matching up against these two teams?
Well, going into this, I thought that this would be the map that would decide the series because Hybrid is sort of even ground for both of these teams, where C9 was historically favored on Control. 1-2-3, I think, is favored on both Assault and Escort. So I always thought that this map would decide the series. What I didn't necessarily think going in is that C9 would end up losing Control, because now C9 has turned not only Hybrid into a must-win, but also going forward, they're going to have a much better performance on Assault as well, because there is one upside here, right? If C9 was able to get 2 maps and force a tiebreaker, they would get another crack at Control, which they're very good at.
Yeah, that's the real question mark here. Speaking of Numbani in particular, how do you feel like this matches up? Is it still a sort of 50-50 matchup between these two teams?
From what we've seen here so far today, I think 1-2-3 is working at edge, although now we see them getting into game here. We'll see what they end up running meta-wise, because that is the one X factor here, right, is that we have weeks worth of data, but we did just have a significant patch where we've seen teams sort of shift what they run. And Numbani, historically, it's the lab of Overwatch. It's where if you're going to run new stuff as a team, you run it on Numbani.
You do indeed. Neptuno now going to be sticking on that Sombra role. Pretty impressive stuff. I mean, I like the Sombra here on Numbani in particular because you can run it throughout multiple stages of the map, even if you lose that first checkpoint. Cloud9's Neptuno is actually quite good at that role. 1-2-3 going to be sticking with the 2-2-2 dive composition, but they put Finzi on the D.Va, Hafikul on the Genji.
One thing that's interesting is that even though C9 is running the Sombra, which can work out, they've had a rough time with Gray on the Ana at points. So 1-2-3, if they can just get this first attack and avoid the EMP chaining, it would be huge in saying momentum. And Neptuno's already down. There will be no EMP.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for them now. They can't build up the EMP now. Neptuno's going to be spending a bit of time to get back into this point. 1-2-3 have a massive advantage now, assuming Tonic stays alive. Great Bio Grenade will force them all the way back for the time being. Tonic starts to get healed up. The rest of his team are going to be flanking for them, and Nevic's falling now immediately. It's going to be, once again, 1-2-3 with the initial advantage. Now almost building up this pulse bomb as well.
This is really rough here for C9 because don't forget what this means on Numbani. When you take the first point this decisively, it's very difficult to stop a team as they roll through second, and C9 just utterly crushed there. When you lose your Sombra that early and you have no out of ever getting the EMP, actually pulling back a fight like that is very difficult. Oh my goodness, goodbye Gray.
Oh my goodness, Stillo is just schooling on absolutely everyone. But I gotta say as well, that first checkpoint was all, I think Neptuno really misplaying there. He mistimed with his recall, with his teleporter, and ended up getting picked off. He tried to basically sort of escape out of it, and he was on such low HP, and he thought he could play around that point. He just didn't really expect, I guess, the side of Tonic to really just jump into him. But losing your Sombra that early means that now we've got 5 minutes here on the streets phase. They're moving forward here. And look at this. This forward aggressive hold coming out here by 1-2-3, not letting them get anything done here. Hafikul just trying to farm up his Dragon Blade, and he's incredibly close to getting it.
1-2-3, looking to keep the momentum going forward. Hafi, though, doesn't have the blade here just yet. And 1-2-3, they're more than willing to hold this back. The nano boost might be asleep. He just taunts the beast and got burned.
So good. So good by Grey there. Right at the precise time. Hafikul did not get the blade refunded in the slightest, and they are just cleaning up space. In the meanwhile, managed to get a 3K into the back lines while all that was kicking off, and they were really relying on Hafikul's blade there to do some damage. And now we see, with the blade gone, 1-2-3 have made some switches up. They're going to be moving Hafikul back over to the D.Va, which he is incredibly strong at stats-wise. It's one of his best roles, and Finzi back onto the Soldier 76.
It's one of the biggest mismatches, too, when you look between Hafikul and Space, so this makes a little bit more sense for 1-2-3 versus their somewhat inconsistent triple DPS setup. So now, 1-2-3 looking for win, but Nevix, plenty of room here in the back. No one's looking at him, and you can't give a guy like Nevix this much room on a 76. He's going to tear your team apart.
Yeah, and look at this. He baits sort of Happy-Cool to going in. Now we see Tonic into the back line.
Looking for kills.
He will look for the kill. Surely he's going to get it onto Gray, unless Gray has just managed to hit off a nutty sleep dart. I'm not sure, but still, into the back lines. The beat will be dropped here. Initial kill onto Nevix as well will set things up very nicely for the time being. Gray falling as well now. Already these 2 picks leading in for 1-2-3. Mike Ye trying to even this one out to the best of his abilities. Does bring down Tonic with the pulse bomb, but can he lead it up with any more?
And Brent, look at the contrast right now with Happy calling the Diva versus not. He was able to isolate Nevix down there, and look, he draws Mikey's attention entirely. Finally, he's demacked, but while Mikey was doing that, he wasn't going to the backline. However, Nevix back into the fight. Devastating cleanup double kill there to even things out, but 1-2-3, they're not out of it yet.
They're not. They're still coming back into this fight. It's one of the longest team fights we've had so far. Tactical Visor being used by Fincy.
Oh no.
And it's just basically a zoning Tactical Visor. Nobody can start to play the point off the back of that, and they do manage to get that capture point there. It was looking so good for Cloud9. They ended up expending a sound barrier to try and stall this one out. It's almost like a tempo sound barrier to really stall that one out, but unfortunately didn't work out as 1-2-3 came in with the counter attack, and now ZP, 4 minutes on the clock, they're pushing it into this third and final checkpoint.
And they still have an edge here. Gray is still on the Ana, which means he has a nano boost, but it's not going to be great versus a Transcendence engage, which 1-2-3 is looking at here. Finzy looking for the easy kill on the flank, doesn't get it, but applies pressure. Now 1-2-3, you got to think the Transcendence is coming out soon here, just to move forward and dive into C9, and Snillo opens the way. Both supports done.
Finding so many kills off the back of this already as well. Snillo with the triple kill. Meanwhile, in the back lines, just tearing it absolutely up. And the important thing to note as well, Bok, he's still got a Transcendence, but ZP, they don't even need it. Gray forced to switch over to the Sombra to try and stall this one out. And unfortunately, just doesn't touch the cart in time. And it's going to mean 1-2-3 is sitting with 3 minutes, 39 seconds on the clock here. And they get a full, all the checkpoints, you know, all the way down to the final checkpoint here on Numbani. This is Cloud9's map pick, and they are schooling them on it.
This is incredibly tough for C9 because the key for Numbani is that even if you get wrecked on point A and point B, point C is where you get a breather. It's very good for the defenders. It's difficult to go through that archway and turn the corner. And C9 there, because they were still running the Ana, all they had in that last fight was a nano boost. And the nano boost, the way they used it, wasn't even good enough to draw out the Transcendence. It wasn't good enough engage. And in the end, the Transcendence didn't even matter. But this isn't anything new for C9. Historically, when they run these Ana comps, it doesn't really work out well for them.
No, I mean, I did see Gray, he got off multiple bio grenades that were actually very effective, even though they were running it into Happy-Cool's Diva. But at the end of the day, you know, the downsides to running the Ana into the sort of composition that 1-2-3 have, you know, your bio grenades less effective. As a result, you've only got 1 defensive support ult against 1-2-3 with their offensive ults. You know, you really do struggle to a degree. But the advantages are, I guess, you've got the Ana for the, as you can see, 1-2-3 are currently like, they're teasing with the idea. They don't know whether to run Bok on the Zen or the Ana. Not sure whether he's going to switch off or not. He might be keeping with it.
Well, here's what we're going to be seeing here from C9 that has historically been very, very successful from them. It's their one support setup.
Yeah,
where
they love this.
They just love overwhelming here in the beginning. They used to run a Doomfist with it, but now they're just going to put Gray in the 76, where he's been comfortable and has had fairly good moments on it. However, we're in the final week right now, Bren.
Yeah.
If 1-2-3 has done any scouting at all, shouldn't you expect this multiple DPS setup with only 1 support?
They should know that this is coming right now. And the danger zone here for Cloud9 is because you're not running Gray on like the Doomfist anymore with the recent nerfs he's received. Essentially, Gray, I imagine he's going to be trying to take up the high ground on the left-hand flank, but that can work completely against them because 1-2-3, they love to put Tonic, they love to put Happy-Cool both up there and wait for the peel. So if he gets shut down early, this push could be ending almost immediately. But right now, Cloud9, again, not wasting any time. They've immediately started to take sort of the high ground and the main positioning. But look at that, Gray. He gets picked off. That was the win condition I was talking about.
And with Gray being down right now, C9, they don't have the sustain they normally would here. It's just a Lucio, and they're all spread out. So this is very dangerous for C9 in making this push go. And in fact, 1-2-3, it's just Snillo. Cleanup kill after cleanup kill. And hey, when there's no more healing, why not?
Yeah, I mean, 1-2-3, they've just read Cloud9 like an absolute book. You were completely right about that, ZP, with the fact that, you know, Cloud9, they've ran this solo support, you know, running Gray on the DPS almost every time they've attacked Numbani first point. You know, it's quite a high percentage of times that they've done it. And really, there's only so many times you can do it before it stops taking these teams off guard 1-2-3, they were prepared. They kept still onto the back lines, but now we see Cloud9 going in for round 2 here.
C9, they're sticking with the setup. They don't care if 1-2-3 knows about 1-2-3. They bend back. 1-2-3 is more resilient against this heavy DPS setup because they disengage more than other teams. And Malzasa, he pays the price. Half a cool and protect his team. Takes him down. Pulse bomb by Snillo. Connects! Still gets Neptuno. Nevix, though, trying to even it out.
Yeah, Nevix using the blade does pick up the double kill. Bok and Fincy are going to be down and out. Still, the point is going to be under the control here of 1-2-3. Even with Nevix trying to clutch it out in the time being, didn't work out for them in the slightest. And still, 1-2-3 going to be holding on to this. 2.5 minutes is what they've burnt it down to for this first checkpoint. And they're sitting with an ultimate advantage for the time being. You know, they can do so many things right now. This nano boost is going to be excellent. You know, they can choose to put it onto Tonic if they want to stall it out, or even Fincy because he's so close to the tactical visor.
All right, 1-2-3, they're just rope-a-doping this back, and Gray, he might be on the Zenyatta, but he gets bopped all the same. Snillo just focusing Gray in fight after fight right now. And look at what 1-2-3 is dealing with right now, Bren. They have so many ults up for this final 2 minutes. C9 not only has to drain these ultimates, but they still have to do something here on the point.
Yeah, what I'd like to see them do right now is peel very aggressively onto Bok into the back lines because he's no longer onto the high ground. I think he's actually playing low ground into the street space. As you can see, that's exactly what they were going for. They tried to get the kill off to the back of it. Fincy ends up going down. Nano boost being used onto the side of Tonic just to try and stall this one out for the time being.
No.
Is this working out for them? Not quite. Cloud9 are currently in the driving seat with these kill advantages.
1-2-3, they put themselves in a rough spot, but there it is. Happy Cool, able to get Neptune with the self-destruct. Both supports are out of this, and this is where Tonic shines. The Primal Rage is out, and we know just how deadly he is when he pulls it out. And C9, even with the good opening there, Bren, it's not enough. They don't get 1-2-3 off the point. They drain several key ultimates, but now they're down to their final minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is rough now for Cloud9. Only pretty much one defensive support ult available to them. You know, by the time, you know, this fight kicks off, maybe Gray will have it, but they're going to be opting to use the sound barrier pretty early on here. We see the pulse bomb being sent out by Snow. Doesn't quite find it. Now Nevix with the blade. This could be the turnaround for them already. Brings down Fincy, and off the back of that, his team are finding all the kills. Already a 3-man advantage for the time being. They are going to be able to get this first tick initially. Havical trying to stall it out along with Snillo. Bok falling as well. This could be good for them, and I think Cloud9 should be now on the edge of taking this point.
They need DMX Space if they want any hope of bringing this back, because Finzy can come in with the tac visor, but Space, he's still very much alive. You can't pop a raw tac visor into that. You have to wait for him to go down, and the response from 1-2-3 just mowed down one after another. C9, they will start into streets phase here, Bren, but man, did it take them a lot of time.
Oh yeah, it took them a hell of a lot of time. I mean, now they've only got 2.5 minutes roughly to push through the streets phase and get that second checkpoint, whereas, you know, look at the time bank that sort of 1-2-3 are looking for. They've got a minute on top of the fact that they've already completed the point. However, if Gray keeps picking up kills like that onto Snillo getting aggressive onto the back lines, you know, if he keeps finding these entry picks, it could be good for him, but we see Gray using a Transcendence now to lead this fight in.
And meanwhile, Mikey just rolling into the back line, secret agent Michael Adams, and even though he's not getting a kill here, he's drawing the 76's attention as the front line of 1-2-3 is utterly decimated. C9 now, Bren, getting some very well-needed momentum as they move in the streets phase. And look at this. They used Barrier Blade to break point A. They're going to have Barrier Blade again here to potentially put point B over the top.
Yeah, kind of crazy sort of ult economy coming out by Cloud9. The fact that they're building up so rapidly. A lot of this off the back of Gray getting these initial kills onto Snillo when Snillo's getting aggressive. And look at this now. We see 1-2-3. They're in a bit of a poor position because they don't have the defensive position to try and re-engage. So they're forced to go and sort of hard commit. But Marzaze, he moves into the back, has a Primal Rage as well. Tactical visor used by Fincy, but he's going to get controlled up now by the Primal Raging Monkey of Mozaza.
Well, this is a little bit weird. Mozaza uses Primal Rage and then just doesn't put pressure on Finzy. It still works out in the overall context of the fight, but usually when you use that, you want to go directly in. In any case, C9 has done enough. They're going to be bringing this here to point B, and they'll have a reasonable amount of time to go in now onto the final point. So this isn't bad for C9, but remember, Bren, it is Nambani. Teams can really solidify their defense here, and it's not a bad moment for Hefficool to drop a big self-destruct either.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, what have they got to try and negate it? Not a lot on the board. 1-2-3 very close to both their defensive support ults with the Zenyatta and the Sound Barrier as well, respectively. So Hefficool, he finds the initial kill onto Mikey A with his team fight. That one pick-off, that's big enough for you to just completely commit all of your pieces.
And look at C9, they have to back up, and not just back up a little bit, back up a lot. That's how much you have to commit when you go underneath this underpass. It's why that defenses here oftentimes hold on point C. However, C9, if they want to take this map, they can't be held back, Bren. They need to make this attack successful, and they are running out of time. Final 2 minutes.
Oh, here we have it. It's going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of things here on Numbani at least. And now we see Initiation trying to come in. Snillo going for this kill onto Gray. The peel is there from his team, and Snillo ends up going down at a Discord Orb. Neptuno finding that one pick-off. That's big for them now because Cloud9, they can lead it in. Great pulse bomb by Mikey A, finding these 2 kills off the back of it.
And now for C9, they are rolling it forward. They're getting through the toughest part of a Numbani defense, and this is going to make 1-2-3 struggle a bit. 1-2-3, they might be able to engage out here at the barrier, but C9 can answer power for power and then some. The blade is going to be up. Finzi won't have the visor immediately, and watch what Nevix does here. No, Gray! He goes down. Snillo is even the odds.
They might have to just reset this one out. Hatical committing the self-destruct, doesn't collect the kill. Cloud9, they want to really commit to this one. The sand barrier is used. Nevix's Dragon Blade gets completely negated by the sand barrier, and Finzi just cleaning up with the tactical visor. It's going to take a hell of a lot of mechanical skill now to really climb them out of this hill, but Mikey A, Cloud9, they choose to reset. Mikey A is lost. He's behind enemy lines. And he can't do anything about it.
Bren, anytime 1-2-3 gets into a pickle, Snillo gets them out of that. That was such a crucial pickoff when 1-2-3 needed it most. It took the wind out of C9 sails. And now, down to their final 45 seconds. And remember, Bren, this is hybrid. If they want a chance of having another attack, they have to get through it with 1 second left on the clock. Otherwise, it won't be enough.
They have to do it, but Finzi, he's found the kill onto Gray again, right at the most critical time. 30 seconds remaining here for this team. Nevix is going to get absolutely shut down. This defense is looking so solid. Self-destruct by Space is committed. Not going to be finding anything off the back of that one, lads. And he has to reset off the back of it. And now Cloud9 is desperation plays. Gray's moved over to the Sombra. It's going to take a miracle for them to even get anything here.
1-2-3, 13 seconds away. C9, not a lot of power, not a lot of hope. But they're going to make the attempt. They're moving in, looking for the pickoff on the tonic, but he still has the Primal Rage, Bren. He can absorb this Primal Rage and ruin C9's hopes. But now, Bren, they must engage.
It is. It's do or die. Now the Transcendence used by Puck, the overtime ticking over here. Cloud9 are desperately searching for an option here, desperately searching for an opening. But off the back of this one, the sand barrier will only connect onto 3 targets, and 1-2-3 have found every single kill at their disposal. Finzi managing to clean up the tactical visor on top will mean 1-2-3 going to be claiming map number 2, Numbani, which might I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, everyone at home, this was Cloud9's map pick.
Yes, and this is what we thought would be the most vital in deterring the series, but now what we thought would be very close is turning into a bit of a rout. C9, if they want to bring the series back into contention, will have to show us a different C9 on both Assault and Escort. Meanwhile, Bren, let's not forget what's at stake here for 1-2-3. If 1-2-3 is able to make this a 4-0, per tiebreakers and all the rest, there will be no way that they don't make it into the playoffs. So 1-2-3, even if they've won the series, they still have everything to play for heading into the 4th map.
They do, yeah. They really want to be sealing this one out in a 4-0, you know. As much as we've seen a lot of 4 Overwatch in the recent days, this is the one case where, you know, 1-2-3 are going to be fighting hard for any map wins to get this and just really secure their playoff spot coming into this one.
All right, guys, we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, the desk will be breaking it down on how this day turned so sunny.